Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to start a new crash course on LangChain. So this is our episode number 1 of our LangChain crash course, and this will be the complete overview of the all the LangChain concepts. We'll be explaining each of the concepts with coding, okay? So that you'll get a practical idea of each of these concepts in detail. So in today's video, in the episode number 1, so in today's video, we're going to discuss about 3 concepts, okay? So there are a lot of concepts to cover in LangChain. So we'll maybe create 5 to 6 videos to cover all of them. So in today's video, basically we're going to discuss about chat models, messages, and chat history. So these are the basic building block of any any framework that you use, any LLM framework that you use. So in LangChain, first let's start with the chat models first. Okay. So if we go here, so chat models are nothing but the LLM models that we'll be using. Okay, models I mean which are already pre-built, which knows how to generate a response, a text response given a user input in a text format. Okay, so LLMs are chat model which takes a message list as input and returns again returns a message as output only. So what are messages we are going to discuss next. So if you see some of the features of chat models are, you know, they can integrate with any kind of chat models available out there, right? Like OpenAI is there, then Llama is there, Anthropic is there, right? And Google Vertex, Amazon Bedrock, these are the popular examples of chat models that are available in the market. So LangChain's chat model class supports integration with all of this. Okay, so in our case, we'll be using OpenAI model. Okay, I'll soon show you the code. Okay, about this. So if you see, there are a lot of chat models that it supports. If you go here, you'll get to know about a lot of chat models that is available here. So the second one is the chat models can take either LangChain's message format or OpenAI's format as input, okay, to generate text. Don't worry, when I'll be showing you the code, you'll get to know about this in detail. Next is three things that we are seeing: tool calling, API, structured output, and async programming and all. These are the concepts which we'll cover in our second or third video. Okay, there I'll explain about this in detail. Okay, now let's just go to the next section. If you say about the integration, which we already discussed, it supports integration with multiple popular official models and some of the other, open source community based models also, which we saw in the list. Um, Now let's jump to the key methods that are available with the chat model. Okay, so if you see, it's good time to show you the code. Let's say here I've did nothing but I've just imported my API key which I need to use with the chat model. And if you see here from LangChain chat models, I've uh, imported the chat OpenAI model because I'm using OpenAI. I have an account with we have an account with OpenAI and we have the API key for OpenAI, so I'm using that. If you see, there are some parameters we are passing, okay, and initializing the OpenAI model class. Okay, this is the chat model, and then we are invoking that with a message of a user input, right, or human message or user input. So this is one of the method, that is the chat.invoke. If I run this, it's just saying some random silly lame joke. Okay, so some of the other methods available in a chat models are invoke, which we just saw, to invoke the model with the user input so that the output can be generated. And stream is nothing but, instead of waiting for the entire output to be generated at once, if you see, when I ran this, it waited to generate the entire output, then it gave everything at once. But when you stream it, what it will do on a token with them, token by token, it will give you the response so that you can stitch them together and show the output. Just like ChatGPT sends, right? When you type something, ChatGPT sends the output in a word by word manner, right? It doesn't just runs everything then throws you the entire set of output at once. It just displays the output one by one. So that is called streaming. All right. Now batch is there is another method called batch. In batch method, what we do, you can actually invoke the model with multiple messages instead of just single message. You can pass multiple messages at once in a list format to for better processing and better parallel processing, for efficient processing. Then bind tools and structured output, as I told, we'll discuss about this in our tool calling video and video about tools. Okay. Now, as we discussed, input to a chat model is a list of messages either in the LangChain format or in the OpenAI format. If I show you the OpenAI format, this is the OpenAI format. Okay. Uh, Here it is not there. We will maybe see in the message. See, in OpenAI format, we send a JSON object where we mentioned a role and a content. Okay. But in LangChain format, this is something like this. I mean, we have inbuilt classes for it, right? So here we don't mention the role explicitly because role is inherent here. Human message means role is user here. Okay. So again, let's discuss that in the messages thing. So this is the OpenAI format and this is the LangChain format. All right. Okay. So there are some standard parameters that we pass when initializing a chat model, just like we have mentioned model, temperature, and OpenAPI API key here. Similarly, there are other basic parameters. Model, we know the type of the model we want to use because ChatGPT has a lot of type of models, right? GPT 3.5 or Turbo, GPT-4, GPT-4 Mini. We are using GPT-4 Mini here. Okay. Now there is a temperature. Temperature means the level of creativity that you want the LLM model to have. If you pass it at 0, it won't do anything creative. It will just, whatever it has learned, it will just fetch information from there and just put it in your screen. But if you increase the temperature, it will try to be creative. Okay, just you can play around with this temperature value and you'll see the difference in output. Okay. Then there are other parameters like timeout, like how much time do you want to wait before LM generates a response. Okay. Then max tokens, the maximum number of tokens that we allow to send in the response, right? So these are the some of the parameters that are there. API we saw. So these are some of the parameters of a chat model. So that was about chat models. Okay. Now let's just jump to the second concept of messages. So messages are very important. Okay. As we saw, chat models, messages are the input to our chat models, right? Just like we see here, this is our chat model and we are passing a message to the chat with through a invoke method, right? If you see, we are passing the list of messages here. So this is a chat model and this is a message. Now if you see, messages can be of basically three to four types of messages are there. Basically each message will have a role and the content in it. Okay, and some additional metadata which you can ignore for now, but role and content are important. Role means here the role of this message is user because or human, because this is a user input. So role of this message is a what? Nothing but user. Okay, so if you say there are four types of role possible for a given message, it can be a system message, it can be a user message, it can be assistant message, or it can be a tool message. Okay, we can ignore this function role, but in current scenario, these are the four types of messages that are being used or implemented. So system message is nothing but the message which sets the tone of your application. Okay, I mean sets the tone of your language model. For example, in the system message, what we can inform ki, hey LLM, you are a let's say cricket expert. Okay, or hey LLM, you are a research expert, or you are an expert about the Indian laws, or you are an expert about the stock market and financial reports. So this sets the tone or sets the direction. It gives a direction to the LLM model in what direction it will be thinking and generating the output. Okay, so typically this is optional. You can pass a system message. See, as you see, we have not passed any system message here. We have just passed a human message. So system message is optional. You don't need to pass it explicitly always, but passing it is a good practice. Next is a user message. User message, as you saw, is the user input that we are giving. If you see, this is the user message that I have given. Okay. Now, assistant is the nothing but the output that the model has generated. Okay. This is basically known as a message in LangChain. Okay. So these are the different roles. So assistant message is the output generated by the chat model, and tool is nothing but the output of the tool call. Okay. Tool call is in we can call external functions. Anyways, we are going to discuss about tool call in tool calls and tools in our tool calling video. For example, if I show you, just I'll give you overview. Okay. See, this is one tool. Okay. So we'll bind this tool to our chat model. Okay. Then if you ask you what is what is 5 into 6 or what is 5 multiplied by 6, it will be able to answer you. So we won't go into that in detail right now. So yeah, if you see in LangChain term, there are four classes that are available, right? Four classes that are available to prepare messages: system message, human message, AI message, and multimodality. So as we saw system message, we already discussed about these types. Okay. And multimodality is nothing but the type of data. Let's say here I am passing just a text data, plain text data, but I can pass an image also, I can pass videos also, I can pass audios also. There are different types of data. Multimodal is multiple varieties of data, multiple types of data, multiple modes of data. That's what known as multimodality. So if you see here, as I told, AI message is the response from the model. Now if I just print the type, let's say let me print the type of the input message, and then we invoke the model with the input message, right? Then it generated the response. If I print both the type of both input and output message, you will see that, see, input message has a class of human message, and the output is the type of the response. This response that I have received, it's a class of the A message. Okay, so this is the format. So this is the format that LangChain supports. Okay, to pass as messages to our chat model. However, it also supports the OpenAI format. OpenAI format I already showed you, right? This is the OpenAI format. If you just pass this way also, I mean, instead of passing a object like this, if you just pass like this, pass this object, let's say, tell me a joke, it will still be able to answer your question. Just a second. I think here I have already mentioned error, right? So that's why it might not be taking. See, I passed input as a dict, but still it was able to generate some response from me for me, right? So you can either pass in a OpenAI format or pass in the LangChain format. Okay, so that is up to you. So this is nothing but a human message. Okay, I mean, if I give you an analogy, this is nothing but in LangChain it will be human message, then hello, how are you? Okay, now if you look at this message, this is nothing but the in LangChain term, it is LangChain LangChain's context, it is I am doing well, thank you for asking, because the role is assistant. So in LangChain the roles are inherent. Okay, we do not mention explicitly because we have different classes for each role. I hope that is clear to you, right? Now we understood about system message, human message, then AI message. In AI message, however, there are two types of possibilities are there. So, okay, the output can either be a plain text. See here, the output of the model is just a plain text, right? Uh, of type AI message class, right? But the output can also be a tool call. Okay, as I saw. So the AI message output can either be a plain text message or it can be a tool call. All right. So if you see here in tool calling, if you see somewhere it is mentioned. Okay, see, let's say this is our chat model. This is our chat model actually. It is invoked with the plain text called hello world. In this case, the output, the type of this result will be obviously be AI message, but the content is just a plain text, right? Hello. Okay. But if I pass something like this to our chat model, which is bound, which has been binded with the tools, okay, above. If you invoke something like this, what is 2 multiplied by 3? Then the output won't be a simple plain string like this. Here it output is a hello. But in this case, if you print that result, it will print the result ka tool calls variable. You will be able to see some of these things like this. Okay, what is the name of the tool? What are the arguments that I am passing? What is the type? Okay, type of the message, whether it's a tool call or plain text. Okay, so that's what. So this tool calls is a property of the response, right? If you see here, the AI message. See, an AI message has the following attributes. So content, tool calls. So here we saw this is result of tool call has this format. Okay, if the question was about a if the question was supposed to be answered with a tool. There are other properties also, invalid tool calls, then id, response, metadata, and content. Okay, so in this case, if you see, the output of the model is plain content, right? It is a plain text, so result.content will be hello here. So this is how so this is how we prepare different types of messages. Okay, and invoke our chat models with user inputs. All right. So AI message is something that the model generates from its own. So we don't need to explicitly provide AI message. Okay. Will be explicitly providing human message to the input as the input. Now there is another type called AI message chunk, which is which supports streaming of messages as told. Instead of giving the output you at once, it will give you the chunks of the output in a continuous manner. You can stitch the chunks together, okay, just like this. Then so the final response that has been generated by the AI model. Okay, yeah. So these are the some of the concepts about messages. And the next, let's now let's discuss about the next topic, that is chat history. Okay. So chat history, as you can see, it's simple. So it's just a history of chats. Okay. I mean, the history can be something like this. Let's say this is message one. Uh, I'll create some other message called, I'll import, let's say, a message, and prepare something like, hello, I am Pritam. Hi Pritam. How can you? How can I help you? So in message 2, we can again ask it, what is my name? Now if you see, I'll pass this three messages as histories. Okay, I'm passing a list of messages. Okay, so that's why we're passing a list here. Okay, you can either pass a single message or you can pass a list of messages as chat history. So this is nothing but our chat history. Okay, that I prepared. If I ask this, uh, content is not defined. Sorry, I mistyped it here. Let me just run this. Let me just hide this for now. See, uh, when I invoked the model with history, okay, and the history contained my name, it was able to successfully understand that my name is Pritam. Okay. However, you don't need to provide this AI message. Okay, you can provide, but if you even if remove this and just invoke it with these two messages, two user messages, it will still be able to know that your name is Pritam. Okay. However, it's a best practice to maintain the sequence of response that has been generated in the chat history. So if you see, there are some guidelines to preserve the chat history. So as I showed you, I removed the AI messages. I removed the AI message from here, but still it was able to answer. But there are some guidelines. Okay, if you see, um, some key guidelines to managing chat history is the first message either be a user message or a system message, followed by a user and then an assistant message. Okay, so the first message, as you told, system message is optional, which is the first starting message of any chat model that you invoke. So it is optional although, but the next message will be user message, and the upcoming and the following message should be a assistant or AI message. Okay, so the last message should either be a user message or a tool message. Okay, so see, these are not strict rules that you need to follow, but these are the key guidelines. I mean, if you follow it, it will be beneficial because here it is just simple, right? AMSS has generated something, so some information which is not of that importance, but there will be cases where AI would have generated some important information for you, and you want to preserve that in the chat history. So that's why it is mentioned that you need to maintain the proper sequence, and the ordering has to be correct, and you need to maintain a proper list of messages to act as a chat history. Okay, see, if you see, the chat history can be human message or AI message, or it can be something like human message, AI message, then some tool message, then AI message, and then a human message. So this is how chat history works. Okay, now there might be one question in your mind, how long should be the chat history? Okay, how big should be the chat history? See, every LLM has a limit on the number of characters it can process at once, because even if you see in chat gpt, if you paste a long paragraph, right, which it doesn't support, let's say, ChatGPT also has limit on its number of input tokens you can give it at once. If you paste a long paragraph, it will simply fail that number of characters has exceeded the limit, right? For example, if I just copy everything randomly and paste it multiple times, it is showing that message is too long. Okay, So that's what. So it's important for you to decide what should be the length of the length of your chat history. So based on your use case, you have to define the maximum length that it can go. I mean the maximum chunk size or the length of the chat history that you want to preserve, and pass it to the new message to act as the latest context for your LLM model. So yeah, that was about the starting concept and three basic concepts of LLM. So I hope you understood about chat models and messages and chat history in details. So in our next video, we'll be discussing about tools and tool calling. Okay, and there I'll show you how the tool messages looks like. Right, we saw examples about human message, system message, and AI message. There I'll show you how AI message has a branch of tool messages there. Okay, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video, hit a thumbs up to the video and subscribe to my channel. We are targeting to reach 2200 subscribers by the end of this month. So keep supporting. If you have any doubts about whatever we discussed in this video, put them in the comment section. I will be sure to answer. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.